What's up everybody, Ryan here from Taxi Garage, and today we're going to be going over one of our newest products. It's the Crazy Cart Chain Gear Guard. And this is something we designed in-house to solve a little problem that we noticed with some of the carts, is that sometimes your standard cart and your standard gear might have the chain popping off. You know, when you're doing those crazy 360s or just really high speed, you're dropping the wheel in gaps here and there. This is definitely the solution to any type of chain dropping issue that you may have. If you have our 500 watt kit or if you have our 900 watt kit, this will fit on your standard gear and this will solve the chain dropping issue. The first thing you want to do before you purchase it actually is inspect your gear that you have and make sure it is a good flat gear and it's not warped and bent, because obviously then you would need to purchase a gear as well as our gear guard to give yourself the ultimate protection. So when you purchase the kit, this is the kit right here. It comes zip tied with the 3 pieces. You'll notice this third part is pressed into the center here. It is a centering tool, and we'll go over how to use that in just a second here. And then it comes with the 3 bolts and the 3 lock nuts that you'll be using to attach this to your existing gear on your Crazy Cart. So today these are some of the tools we're going to use. We have a block of wood which we're going to attach the gear to after we mark where the new holes go, so we can drill it nice and easy. That's just a little trick I've used from the past. We have a centering punch. We have a Phillips head so we can screw our wood screws in to attach this to the block of wood as I was talking about. We have a pilot drill bit which is 9/64 in diameter, and then we have a 7/32 final drill bit to match the diameter of the bolts that the hardware comes with in the kit. So that'll be your final drill bit. Then we have 2 ratcheting wrenches with 8mm sockets on them so we can go ahead and tighten both sides of the bolt and the nut up. And then we also have a deburring tool, because after we drill through there will be some little metal shavings that you'll want to clean up before bolting down the fresh gear guard onto that surface. And then of course snips, so we can go ahead and snip the zip tie off the 3 pieces. You will need hopefully snap-on parts, but today we are using this amazing drill. Alright, so you're going to grab your snips, you're going to snip this zip tie. Now you're going to go ahead and grab the outside of the gear guard face, which is the side that has the fins, and you're going to notice we have this centering tool here. And this centering tool has a flat side and it has a round protruding side. And that round protrusion actually slips into the center of your factory Crazy Cart gear, as you can see here. I can no longer shift this left or right or up or down. And so we use this to help center your new holes on the gear. So what you're going to do is you're going to grab your outer gear guard cover with the fins facing up. You're going to grab this centering tool part with the flat section facing up as well. You're going to slide it in, and you'll notice it makes a bit of a friction sound. That means it's in full contact with the gear on the inside. You're going to pick up the gear itself and you're going to push the centering tool into the gear. And now you'll see that it's actually centered in here, and when I try to shift it left and right, the gear itself is one with this right now. So one other thing to pay attention to is that if we drilled the holes where we have it laying right now, you would not attach this to the gear because the holes are in these oval openings on the existing gear. So when you drill them, you need to make sure you spin the gear to where you're actually drilling through some actual meat on the gear. So what I've done here is I'm just showing you upside down that when you rotate it, the 3 holes end up on this surface right here. So now when I go to drill those holes, I know that where I marked these holes, they will be on a meaty surface for me to actually bolt up to. The next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take your punch, and if you don't have one, not a big deal. You know, you can start it with just a drill bit and mark it, you know, with just a little Sharpie or something. White Sharpie, you could mark the 3 spots and you could drill those, but I prefer to use a punch. It gives you a nice point of accuracy to get the drill bit started. So first thing you want to do is grab your punch, put it in the center of the hole, and if you're familiar with using a punch, you just push down and it leaves a nice indented imprint onto the metal for you to place the drill bit into. So we're going to do all 3 sides. The punch takes a bit of coercion to get to work. There we go, there we go. Got to hear that nice little snap. So what do we have here? Now if you zoom in on this, you'll see I've got 1, 2, 3 marks here. They're a good amount of space here away from these ovals. So where I drill this, I know these bolts are going to have plenty of meat to hold the gear guard onto the existing gear. The next thing you want to do is you want to be able to drill this. And obviously it's a small part, so if you were to just try to drill this by hand, you know, there's not a lot to grab onto it. So we have a technique here that we like to use that allows this to be done much easier. So this is why I've got this block of wood here. And what I've done is I've taken our 9/64 drill bit here, and I've pre-drilled the 3 holes to the gear. So I lined up the gear here, I drilled 3 holes as you see here, and then I'm going to take wood screws, and I'm actually going to take wood screws and mount this into the block of wood. So that way I can drill this without having to hold the gear myself, which is quite dangerous. And I don't want to lose my fingers today, so we're going to do it a safe way. Awesome. So I've mounted the gear to the block of wood. Now I know it's safe, and when I go to drill into this, I'm not drilling into my table, putting a hole into it. I'm actually just going to drill through the wood, which I don't care about. It's sacrificial at this point. It's just there to do what I need to do with this part. So I'm going to take my larger drill bit, which is 7/32, as I said earlier in the video. I'm going to mount it inside my drill. I like to mount it so all 3 surfaces are on the tangs of the chuck. Nice and even. Yeah, I like it like that. Right? And then I'm going to take my drill bit. I'm going to line it up with that existing punched hole. I'm going to start putting pressure, and I'm going to drill through. And then once you get to the point of where it's about to drill out, you may want to take your hand off the drill, and you may want to put your hand on the block of wood, just to kind of support the wood so it doesn't go spinning and flinging it off, everything off the table. And as you see, I've successfully drilled that hole, and I'm going to blow off all the debris so that way I can still see where I'm at. One thing I like to do in the midst of drilling all these is I like to just visually confirm that where I've drilled is where I originally put the punch. So I'm actually looking through this hole, making sure the punch marks are still centered in these existing or the holes that I still want to make into this. Because, you know, sometimes when you drill, the drill bit can wander a little bit up or down. So by doing this, this allows me to confirm that these 2 other spots, when I drill them, it'll still fit. So I'm going to do the same process, line this up with my punch, drill it, put some downward pressure. And you can see I let off right as it started to go through because I knew it was going to spin the block of wood. So at the very end, make sure you've gone all the way through, drill into the wood, clean the shavings off. I'm going to go ahead and do the last hole here, but one last time. I'm going to confirm the hole's alignment by putting this part back over it and confirming that my holes do line up in here. Now we're on to the last hole that we need to drill. We're going to do the same process. Line up your drill bit to that existing punch mark and go ahead and send there. Now we go ahead and grab the block so it doesn't spin on me. And voila, we have successfully drilled 3 holes on your original Crazy Cart gear. So now we've got our 3 holes. The other thing that I was talking about earlier in the video is our deburring tool. This is something that we have on hand because we drill a lot of holes in the metal, and this makes it really quick and easy to deburr. Obviously, if you have a bit of sandpaper, you could sit here and just sand this edge to get rid of any rough edge that might still exist on the metal. So we like to go ahead and deburr our holes. Plus, it also ensures that when you install the gear guard, it has a completely flat surface for it to bolt to. Obviously, if this had debris still sticking on this hole, when you go to lay this flat on it, it's going to sit crooked. So you do need to make sure you find a way to remove those existing shavings. We are going to remove the gear now from the block of wood, and we are going to deburr the back side of this gear to ensure that both sides are nice and flat. flip it over, grab our deburring tool. I rub my finger here and I can tell, okay, these are raised surfaces and they need to be deburred. Clean it up, nice and easy. Makes that nice smooth sound when you've cut through all the junk on top of it. Let's get that last edge right there. Same here. And there you have it. 3 perfectly drilled holes with respect to the center of the gear. So now when we bolt this on, this will not be up here, it won't be down here, it will spin perfectly concentric with the gear. So yeah, here you go, this is the outside piece. I'm going to go ahead and start putting our 8mm bolts through here. They should all slide in nice and easy because I've done my due diligence and I've confirmed that all 3 holes were drilled perfectly in alignment with each other. I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to slide this gear guard over the existing bolts and I'm going to hand thread.
Fins out.
And then as we showed earlier in the video, we have our 2 ratcheting wrenches with 8mm on them. This is going to make it really easy to do the final part of the install, which is just tighten up these bolts and nuts, baby. So I'm finishing up that 8mm bolt. And you don't want to go crazy tight on this because this is plastic, so obviously if you wrench the heck out of these, you could crack the plastic, but this is why we use Nylock nuts on the back side because they never unscrew on their own. So all you have to do is tighten them to where they're snug and you will never have to worry about this loosening up or unscrewing itself. So there you have it. This is what it does. It keeps the chain perfectly in alignment on this gear. So now when you're riding down the streets with your buddies and you're doing those crazy 360s off curbs and you used to drop chains, now you won't. This is a bulletproof setup here, people. Keep in mind, guys, that this is a plastic piece and that obviously if you pop your tire, if you're on an air tire and you continue riding, you might hit the plastic portion on the ground. So this can get nicked up and, scratched here and there. We have seen some people do that. We have a lot of guys that send it no matter what. I'm just giving you a little bit of forewarning, so if you continue driving after you popped your tire, you may do a little bit of damage here, but we've actually seen people damage them and they still hold up and they still do the job by keeping the chain perfectly in alignment. Just a heads up, enjoy the part, enjoy what we got for you guys on YouTube coming up, and like and subscribe. Call us if you have any questions, numbers on the website, do some hunting. We got everything good for the Crazy Cart and more Razor products coming soon. Tag us in your next videos on your installs and your Instagram, whatever you guys are doing to the carts, we want to know. We want to find out what you guys are doing at home. Tag us, we'll reshare it, repost, share the love, and spread the shred. Send it with us, guys, Taxi Garage.